Good morning, Eben. Thanks for having me.
Can you just unpack this report for us a little bit and what it means going forward, please?
Well, I think it's really what you indicated is that there's a sort of weak confidence in the market currently in terms of manufacturing sector. There are high pressures from both costs, imports, as well as labor, and the labor as well as the cost of running business. And I think this has led to the inevitable job losses we've seen over the past year and particularly the last quarter in the sector. The unfortunate thing is that when one looks at the analysis, it doesn't appear to be going anywhere soon in terms of job creation. The sector as a whole only predicts less than a third of job creation. 37% actually expect retrenchments to take place, which is obviously quite sad to see in the industry.
68,000 is a dramatic number. How badly will this affect the manufacturing sector going forward?
I think overall the manufacturing sector has been under pressure for several years, and the pressure will be maintained. One should not forget that there is also a raft of labour legislation coming through which will tighten the market, if anything. We're moving into a very inflexible labour relations system. Currently we're already in the bottom quartile, if not second last place or last placed in terms of inflexibility of labour relations. And with all these legislations coming through, with the policies being put in play, it would inevitably put off business as a whole.
Grant, what does this mean for job seekers in the manufacturing sector and then also those who are already employed in the industry?
Well, obviously, if you see in the report, there is a call for skills. And I think if you are a job seeker, if you are a student coming into the system, I think it's imperative that if this is a sector you want to be in, you do a thorough analysis of which is the appropriate skill that the sector is looking for. Upskill yourself in that regard so that you could potentially enter into the marketplace. There will be limited positions available, if any, as you can see in the report. However, also in terms of overall chaps in the system already, there is obviously a concern with regards to closure of businesses, etc., in the particular industry. Yeah.
Besides the increased labour and the volatile rand, what else do you think caused this problem, Grant?
I think one's battling with cheap imports in South Africa, particularly various industries. If you look at just across the board, textile industry, if you look at the plastics industry as well, and various other industries, I think there's a lot of cheap imports putting a lot of pressure on local manufacturers to become. Well, unfortunately, trying to become competitive with it is almost impossible. On top of this, the high cost of doing business, again, together with the labour relations environment we find ourselves in, is very detrimental to the industry currently.
Grant, I also want to ask you, we've had an extended strike season in South Africa this year and much more volatile than usual year on year. What kind of role did that play?
Well, strikes inevitably create a perception with the international market, and also then going to the local manufacturers. I think inevitably the possibility of a strike puts you off in ramping up your operations locally. The impact of a strike financially on productivity as well and operationally obviously also impacts on your ability to produce. And I think inevitably that did contribute in no uncertain terms to the job losses we're seeing and the potential job losses or lack of job creation going forward.
Thank you very much, Grant Wilkinson, who's a labour attorney at Global Business Solutions from our Cape Town studios. He's giving us an insight as to why job creation in the country's manufacturing sector remains under pressure.